It says we're live. There we are. Okay. There we are. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about what you saw at the field yesterday and what I'm doing on different trim changes. I'll wait for some people to chime in here. I'm a little early tonight. There's one. This is a kind of an important topic, actually, if you're a stunt flyer. I'm going to talk about my personal stages of trim, how I go about doing things. First thing is bench trimming. Get your model where all the elevators and flaps are equal. Plot your center of gravity, 25%. I've shown that in the past, but that's the total wing chord, and then you 28 to 25%. That'll give you a pretty stable flight. Hello, Alexander. Greetings from Scotland. Hoot man. So you don't want to take off on a brand new airplane tail heavy. I was watching a guy that I follow, little history, and the first thing I told him was, plot the center of gravity, because he tried it before. He had a really tail heavy airplane. He's an RC guy, but they're all the same. Anyway, so plot your center of gravity, 25%. Usually it's at the high point of the wing or a little farther forward. So go with a friend to the field. That's pretty important. You want to take off and fly around level and have your friend spot for you to see if your wings are level. If they're not level, you can tweak the flaps just so you can get through the session. But I would suggest that you come home, tweak the flaps back to 0, and steam the wings straight, and then try again. So now we have our wings level in our first session out. Then have your buddy clock your speed, your lap time. 5.2 to 5.5 is a pretty comfortable flying speed on 64-foot lines. Now, if the motor's running at a 4-cycle, or where you think that the motor is happy, you don't adjust the speed by richening up or leaning out the engine. You adjust it by prop pitch. So if you're flying super fast, I like the wood propellers, but if you're flying super fast, this is a 6-pitch prop. This is good for Super Tiger 60s, 13.6 6-pitch prop. This prop here is a 16.4.5, but this is a 75 in this particular airplane. Now, I did try it with a 14.5, and the lap speed was horrendous. It was 4.9, so we had to slow it down. So now we're getting close by de-pitching the propeller. Okay, so you got your lap speed where you want it. After finding the pitch of propeller that you want, don't change the engine RPM to change the lap speed. Change the pitch of the propeller. So now you have your lap speed where you want it. 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, somewhere in there. 6 seconds is way too slow. There's not enough centrifugal force. There are some guys who can do it, though. There's not enough centrifugal force on the airplane to fly 6 seconds. So as you're flying around level, you had your friends spot your wings are level. You've got your lap speed. That's what John was doing Tuesday night. If you follow the Tuesday night session, we just went out there to get him a lap speed. He called Randy, and Randy told him to de-pitch the prop by 1/2 inch and 8,800 RPM. And that's where T-Bone. All right, we'll see you on Wednesday. So you want your lap speed, 5.2, 5.3. If you want to make a minor adjustment, you can lengthen or shorten the lines. Every foot of line length gives you a tenth. So if you have 60-foot lines and you're flying at 5.2 and you want 5.3 and the motor's happy where it's at, you can lengthen it 1 foot. So you got 61-foot lines, you'll come up to 5.3. 62-foot lines, 5.4, so on and so forth. So that's a way to, fine-tune your lap speeds. The wings are level. Hopefully you did this at the bench trim. You got the nose, you got a nose-heavy airplane at 25%. So as you're flying around level, you'll notice that I made a couple of trim change. You're not supposed to do this, but I've been flying over 50 years, and I can pretty much grasp what the airplane's going to need and make a couple of trim changes. So now we have our lap speed, 5.2, 5.3, somewhere in there where you're comfortable flying. Now we're going to go on to the next thing. Now, I'm sure all this is covered in Paul Walker's trim chart, which I've never looked at, but they tell me that it's good, but I just do it my way, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, wings are level, lap speed's right. Now we're going to adjust tip weight. You only want enough tip weight in the airplane to compensate for the weight of the lines, because it does some really weird things to you if things aren't set right. And there's a big argument about bell crank location and lead out location and so on and so forth. It does matter. I don't care what anybody says. So the more concentrated tip weight you get in there, not only will you get a wing drop, but you can get a rocking, a yawing motion, because everything's trying to line up on centrifugal force. So start out with, back in the day, I heard Wendy and Big Jim were running 2 ounces of tip weight. Well, that may be necessary if you're not running an asymmetrical wing, meaning that the inboard wing is an inch longer or a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch longer. And you would think that would mean that you would need more tip weight, but no, not really. It creates more lift than the outboard wing, meaning that you don't need as much tip weight. So I run, I think there's probably a 1/2 ounce of tip weight in this now, where I was out at the field and I noticed that the thing became light on top. When I got up on top, it started losing a little line tension. Even though I have 3 degrees motor offset, you can feel that in the wingtip, so I added another 1/4 ounce, and we'll give that a try. I'm gonna bring this airplane to Brodax. I was gonna bring the Junar, but I'm gonna bring this one to Brodax, and I'm gonna try to work with it because I'm gonna fly this at the Nats. This airplane is very heavy on the handle. That means it's too nose heavy. So I've already added a 1/4 ounce of tail weight, and I'm going to add another 1/4 ounce. I don't want to use the putty on this because I don't want the green shit smeared all over it. But that should speed up the turn. So we're going to speed up the turn. Now, if you want to fine tune that, you can adjust handle spacing. So if this airplane was heavy, like I'm talking about, I can open up the handle so that it gives more authority into the controls with the same amount of movement. That's all well and good, but I like flying Kaz's small handle, which only allows for a 5-inch line spacing. So it's not like a big Hawk Rat where you got 6 inches of line spacing. Anyway, so I'm going to add some tail weight to get a little more response, and if it has too much response, I'll take some tail weight off. And that's what I was doing with the Junar out at the field when you guys were seeing me add the clay here, and and I already did that. I put the weight in the airplane now, but now let's talk about flying level. So now we're flying level. This is how I determine lead out rake or line position out the wingtip. You want to try to keep everything in a straight line, meaning center of the lead out location through the bell crank pivot to the wingtip weight location, so that this thing is going to fly. When it's flying tangent to the circle, it's not crabbing. So if you have the lead outs way far back, which the electric guys are doing now, and I don't understand why, but electric's a different animal. Paul Walker's running his lead outs like 2 inches behind the center of gravity. What that does is it causes the airplane to yaw out. So how do you figure out where your lead outs need to be? Well, look at your wheel location. If you built everything where the wheels, as you're flying, if the wheels are the same distance from the trailing edge to the center line of the axle on both wheels, they should be in line, just like, toe in, toe out. So if you can see your back wheel, your outboard wheel, behind the inboard wheel, move the lines forward. And keep moving them forward until you can't see but one wheel. They're all straight in line. That's how I do it. I don't know, maybe, somebody else may do it different, whatever, and that's all well and good, but that's how I do it. So I'm looking for wheel alignment. Are the wheels lined up as I'm flying along? Don't believe that moving the lead outs forward is going to give you more line tension, because it won't. All you got to do is think about it. Draw a picture. And that's why I talk to some of them guys and say, "Oh, the lead bell crank and the lead out." Draw a picture and add centrifugal force into that. You don't want the airplane to crab, because when you give it up, it will want to turn out. When you give it down, it'll want to turn in on you. So line the wheels up. That's how I do it. We're going to add this. I got a 1/4 ounce on there now of the solder. I'm going to add another 1/4 ounce, or as much as one wrap on the tail wheel will give. And after Rodax, if that's enough, I'll take it off, weigh it, and sink lead into the fuselage before the nets. Man, grease, oil. You got any questions on what I've tried to explain so far about engine speed, basic trimming, which basically that's all that is basic trimming. Let's see, have it turned. Yeah, turn out. But we're going to be ready to go here. I'm going to start putting I got my car, I got 4 gallon of fuel in the car. I have my cooler in the car now, and I have my cot, sleeping bag. I have my canopy in the car now. Here again, this is how I do it. There's already one wrap of solder on there. We're going to go up there with one more. Here's another thing that you got to think about. If your airplane is tail heavy, it takes twice as much nose weight as it does tail weight. So try not to build any tail heavy airplanes. Might as well get the camera looking at this instead of you guys looking at me. Let's see what's going on here. And we'll go there. I've been thinking about Rodex, and the normal time that I do these streams is 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Well, because John has passed away, I don't know whether we're going to get in the garage or whatever. I hope nothing changed. You know, we can still use his shop and all that. But I'm going to be doing my normal, along with my other stuff, I'm going to be doing my normal live streams at this time, so that I can bring you up to date on the events that day at Brodex. Now, I don't think I'll be running a stream all day long at Brodex. There's just no way I could afford that. So, it's it's $80 a day, about $100 a day. Ain't got it. So we got to do what we got to do. I'm going to take the Mevo setup, but I'm not sure my little modem, my hotspot will handle. I guess I better look into how to save bandwidth on that. Let's see. No, John didn't pass away. I hope not. Oh yeah, John Brodak. He's been dead now 2 years. Throat cancer got him. Okay, there's a ½ an ounce on the back of this thing. Hopefully it won't be too squirrely. I'm going to stay Saturday in town here. We're going to go out to the field Saturday at the field for some more trim sessions to see if this worked. Now I won't be taking this off and putting it in the fuselage till after Brodex, but this will give me a starting point. There is a chunk of armor on that baby. Solidero. If I was smart, I would just keep painting until it got tail heavy enough. Let's see. I miss John. John was a good guy. So what I need to do is I need to figure out how to make my Mevo broadcast into this, just all three into one. I'm going to look at that tonight, how to set that up. All right, let's check the balance on this and see where we're at. I got some more Rev Up propellers in the mail today. Well, that looks better. Got some 14.5s. Let's check this now. Still pretty nose heavy. But that should help. I won't go anymore until I fly it. Like I say, that's a half an ounce. When you're making these changes, don't go too drastic. Don't put 2 ounces back there and then go test it. Go half ounce at a time. All right, we got any questions on trim? Even the nitromethane that you use, the amount of nitromethane is part of trim. Let's say you're flying your airplane and you nose it up and it charges up the hill. You're running too much nitro. Nitro's an oxidizer. And nitro does make power. I always run 10% in Super Tigers. But it's way too much. 10% is way too much for this motor and this light airplane. So there's a lot of factors that go along with that. Is your airplane very heavy? Well, you might need to run it tail heavy to get it to turn, because a nose heavy airplane in the wind is a disaster. The loops, as the wind blows, the loops will get bigger and bigger, and you'll lose. You can't put enough up in it, and you'll hit the ground. So you want to make sure that, if you got running a heavy airplane, to run it a little bit on the tail heavy side. But a light airplane like this one, I try to run on the nose heavy side so that it has real good directional stability, but it still has enough power to do those snap turns. And that's what I'm trying to get out of this. Where I can get that crisp turn like we used to get in the 60s. Because all these airplanes of today are mushmobiles. They're ridiculous. Except my Junar, it'll turn. But it's only 54 ounces. The mushmobile. I still got crap on this thing from flying. Hopefully this will last a while, this airplane. It's coming around. I really like them to fly right off the bench. I don't like to monkey with them, but I guess I got to do what I got to do. I got all the paint rubbed out on this now, or rubbed off. One. It's almost ready for the gnats. A little bit to go right in here. You can feel it, you know, it's a little rough. Let's see, Yogi said something. Can't read it. My eyes are getting progressively worse. Well, I don't know about that. I know enough to get me in trouble. If I had the time to practice and a good place to practice, I might do pretty well at the Nats. But I don't, so I just go for the party. Donate my $100. See, I felt them here. Here we are, right here. Well, that's the way it goes. I'm not going to put any rubbing compound on them. I don't want to rub them back off. Anyway, that's a little trim, quick trim thing. I would suggest that the most important part of what I've told you today is the bench trimming, so that you have a successful outing. And please, don't be one of the guys that goes out there and flip, and can't get the motor started. You should have at least an hour's worth of running on that engine by the time you go to the field. You want to be able to go to the field, set your stuff down, flip it once or twice, and go fly. You don't want to be working on stuff out at the field. So do all that at home in your garage. See, we got a little bit of stuff right there. Now, let's talk a product. Sam's Spray Wax from Cletus McFarland. $28. It's a good product if you want to help them, but if you want a shiny airplane, use what I use. Express Shine. Got Carnauba in it. It's about $20 cheaper than the other stuff. But I like Cletus. I watch his program, and I even got one of his t-shirts. Sweet Honey Barbecue. Yeah, this bottom needs one more rub out. Or maybe I'll put some wax on it and we'll see how that works. Yeah, we can do that. We can put a little wax on it. Here's the wax I use, Meguiar's cleaner wax. I'm doing all this on the bottom because of my buddy Jim Lynch. Because in 2011, he said, I said, why did I get such a crappy score on my Supermarine? He said, well, the bottom ain't as good as the top. Okay, it'll never happen again. I used to try to skimp weight and not put as much clear on the bottom. But that will never happen again. Okay. I don't know how long it's going to take to dry. You know, you'll see him come on here. He'll probably come on here in a little bit. Him and Charlie Reeves really know how to finish. So when them guys say something to you, you better pay attention. Now, if we're ever at the field or whatever, and you want me to look at your airplane, remember I've been an appearance judge at the Nats, and I kind of set the standard in the 180 building for speeding things up. And you want my honest opinion on your airplane, don't feel insulted when I tell you, well, that ain't no good, or if it's good, you'll know it. One year Doug Moon had his Moonmobile out there. I think that's the finest airplane he's ever built. And I told him that too. Now there's a difference between spray shine and elbow shine. Spray shine looks good, but boy, it doesn't have the look of a baby grand piano like a hand-rubbed lacquer airplane. Those planes look plastic. They are shiny. I think where the shine came about was they used to have pylon racers, RC pylon racers, come and judge appearance. And the shinier the airplane was, I think that was the year that Ron Burns got the back row with a nicely finished Hellcat, which was a crying shame. Because just because an airplane's not shiny doesn't mean it's not superior craftsmanship. You know, all the fits are good, the wood joints are good, and it's, relatively well covered. There's not wrinkles all over the place, and you'll get high points. A monocoder, I will give a monocoder airplane high points if it's nicely done. Because you're not looking for so much the medium that it's covered in, or it's the execution. And by no means you need to go, ooh, there's a little flaw. Nobody can see that stuff. I mean, when I did appearance at the Nats when Jim Lynch and Charlie helped me, I had the airplane in my hands no more than a minute. make the decision in a minute of what's going on. Okay, that's good enough for a wax application on the wings. We'll see if it polishes up. Next thing on polishing, if you decide to wax, I don't know what that means, yogi, whatever. There are no pros at this. I ain't making no money at it. I'd starve to death. I mean, I suppose I could build some stuff and make some money, but I just don't want to. I don't want to turn this thing into a job. This is the first coat of wax on the wings here on the bottom. It's been rubbed a couple of times. It probably could use some more. Really needs another 5-6 coats of clear to be outstanding, but we're not going to put 5 or 6 ounces on this airplane. Yeah, it'll come up. It'll come up. Anyway, back to trim. Trimming is probably the best trim guy is Billy. You know, if you see these guys put a little thread here and the rat turds here and there, that's nonsense. I mean, if it makes them feel better, go for it. Get back from the gnats, we'll start building our 23 airplane. Yeah, it's not quite dry, it's not coming off. It might have to sit on there for, it's not in the sun, so yeah, it's shiny. That's coming up. But I think I'm going to bring this airplane here to Rodex. I'll wear my shirt to go along with it. Heard a story today that the gas prices are getting so bad, they got women going to gas stations putting gasoline in shopping bags and wonder why the bag breaks. Duh. This might need another polish job. It's not quite coming out like I want it. you can't hear that, but you can tell this one square where it wasn't sanded, the one that I painted last weekend. But it'll rub out. $18 watchers. Hey guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Super chat, super thanks. You know, if the trim session, the trimming helped you, drop me a super thanks. That's that little thank you button, or yeah, on the bottom. Please consider joining, becoming a paid subscriber like Jack Snavely and Craig Biswick, and there's several on here. It's not, you know, it doesn't cost much. It helps the channel. When we hit 50, I'm going to be doing 50 members. I'm going to do a special video just for those members. And we're close. I mean, I've been hovering around 43 since I started this. I can't believe I can't get 50. Price of a six-pack of Blatz. You can become a member. There we go. It's coming up now. I wish I could take my trailer, but I just can't afford to tow that thing. That's my getaway vehicle. Going back to Missouri. I don't know that I told this story, but if you guys remember, if you're a Saturday at John's follower, I've been over to John's house and I've had 2 flat tires in his driveway. Well, I had those tires on Nokoma or something like that. They're from Finland. They weren't really good in the rain. They were pretty slick. You know, hard rubber or whatever. It's supposed to be a 100,000 mile tire. I don't know. Pretty hard rubber. Anyway, so I'm going to Brodax. That's quite a ways away. I don't want to have any problems. So I went to Grismer Tire and I got 4 new Firestone tires. Yeah, it sure would be, Craig. I got 4 new Firestone tires and a set of wiper blades. I got to give Grismer Tire props because the wiper blades, I came back the next day, which was yesterday, and I said to him, "Hey, did you guys put new blades on this? Look at this. It's missing half the window." They gave me a new set of blades, no questions asked. More a comment than a trim question. I have a plane. It would throw the outboard wing up. I played with wingtip weight and trim tabs with dismal results. Yes, Bob, because that's not the problem. All right, let's address Bob's question or problem here. Let me see if I can get it right. More of a comment than I have a plane that when I do outside loops, it would throw the outboard wing up. It's not wingtip weight. wingtip weight can be noticed as you're flying along. Have your friend look at the airplane as you're flying along. If the outboard wingtip is down, upright, and you turn it upside down and it's down inverted, you got too much wingtip weight in it. Now, that may not be the correct answer. Bob, are you going to bring that airplane to Brodax? Are you going to Brodax? I should ask. If you're going to bring it to Brodax, I can probably look at it and tell you what it is right off. But something is out of alignment. I can tell you that right now. That'll happen. That type of thing will happen if you measure from the trailing edge to the trailing edge of the stabilizer. Are they equal? At Brodax, and I was talking to Joe Gilbert, he said make the outboard flap smaller than the inboard. Well, it may solve the problem, but it's the wrong solution because the outboard flap should be bigger. Should be a 1/4 inch bigger than the inboard flap. Yeah, like I say, it may have solved the problem, but it's not the right solution. Joe's really sharp, too. You know, don't get me wrong. Whatever makes it work. But there's some other underlying problem. The reason that the outboard flap has to be bigger is that it's flying slower, tangent to the center of the circle. So it creates less lift. Now you would think that it would be flying the same speed, but it's not. It's weird. What we do in control line is so oddball. I mean, the airplanes have to be pretty specific to do its, it's just like a sprint car, you know, stagger, pitch, wedge. Okay, let's see what he says. Craig, I tweaked the flaps so much, I caused the outboard wing to be lower in level flight. Yet, it's not a flap tweak problem. The only time it's a flap tweak problem is when you're flying around level and one wing is lower. You're flying around level, upright, and the wing is lower outboard. That means that the inboard flap is down or the outboard flap is up. You got to look at it, see which one is which. And then if you turn it upside down, it's the exact opposite. Then a flap tweak will fix that. But I don't tweak flaps. I may tweak a flap to get through a session, but the minute that the session's over, I bring it home and steam the wing straight. Because there's a warp in the wing. Do not rely on a jig or a foam cradle or whatever, how you're building your airplane. Rely that it's going to be 100% accurate when it comes off the jig or out of the cradle. You have to look at it, stand alone, you look into the wing, trailing to leading edge. Yeah, we're picking up a shine. We're picking up the shine. I would have to get my tape measure on your airplane, Bob. So if you're bringing it to Brodex, I'll look at it. But if it's fixed and you're happy with how it's working, hey, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter how you get there as long as it works. I don't know whether Joe watches this stream, but I've seen Joe Gilbert pull his bell crank out. I think he built him with built his airplane alongside of Richard Oliver, because I seen him pull his bell crank out. And I'll give you $100 if you can pull the bell crank out of my airplane without breaking something. I mean, the lines will break, or you'll never pull the bell crank out. The lines would break first. I can't remember ever having a bell crank pull out. I can't remember ever building a wing that folded either. There's John. Yeah, if the outboard... Yeah, that's true too. Let's see, maybe I didn't read that right. The outboard flap... No, the flap is smaller. Let's see. Make the outboard flap smaller than the inboard. This plane has a longer outboard. Oh, well, that's why. Yeah, I missed that. You caught it, John. That's good. Now, you're not supposed to have a longer outboard wing. Well, Yogi, you're gonna props, for speed and line length. I do it all. We do it all at the field. The inboard wing is 1 inch shorter than the outboard. I had to reduce the volume of the inboard flap. Yeah, okay, great. That makes sense. Yeah, now that I caught that, or you guys brought it to my attention, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I knew there had to be some kind of weird thing going on. You put the wing in upside down. I don't know how much flying I'll get to do before my buddy gets to Brodex, because we kind of got a routine, and I don't let a whole lot of people handle my airplane. But I'm going to go early. Yeah, shined up. Took an hour to polish the wing out. Wax the wing. I see some spots that I need to hit with the buffer though. came out much better. Over 55 minutes in on a program that I had no idea what I was going to talk about. Well, that finesse it is some marvelous stuff. Got a hit right there too. I don't know what's in it. It's got petroleum in it. I know I can smell it. I have to buy some more 3-inch pads. Yeah, that's all right. All right. Yeah, there's another spot. I'm gonna have to work on this after hours here. Yes. PA 75. This is a Casminato carbon fiber header muffler. Casminato tank. These are, the spinner on this one used to be a Medusa, but now this is a China special. Down over John's house, if you were there when we made, modifying the spinners, John fixed me up with that. John fixed me up with some wheel collars that are pretty slick. They look like Harley Davidson spikes, axle spikes. All right, we're going to end this broadcast. I appreciate you guys watching. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about except for trim. We adding a 1/2 ounce of tail weight to this, and Saturday we'll go test it out and see if I got a better turn, and if I don't, I'll put some more. Joe thought that when I gave up down elevator the top of the outside loop, the flaps were being deflected with a larger inboard flap, and the outboard flap of my outboard wing was being pushed down. Yeah. I suppose, I don't know, I'd have to see it fly. Yes, I support the muffler. I have a pipe mount in there that it zip ties to. If you don't, you'll crack the header. Not only that, double redundancy is always a good thing. Got 2 bolts holding it on plus a zip tie so it won't fly off. Shine on this airplane does not come from dope. It comes from elbow grease. Remember that. John and I, we got a case of elbow grease over there sitting on a shelf. We're going to have to start selling. I wish it was that easy. Yeah, not really. It'd be no fun if it was that easy. Now that buffed out like Monocoat there, because it was such a small area. Need to hit that again here. Yeah. Yeah, auto spell is no good. It's good for guys like me that can't spell, but makes you say some stupid stuff. Especially on the phone. Autocorrect. Why can't I get them scratches out? This is how we used to do it all the time. Just like this. Rub by hand. Didn't have no speedy buffer. It was all elbow grease. Start squeaking, you'll know you got it right. There we go. Want the whole airplane to squeak like that, really. Man, I could use some more. Unreal. That's getting too particular. But I'm sure it'll be gone over a couple of more times before the gnats. Alright. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you at Rodax. I'll be on tomorrow night. I don't know what we'll talk about. You guys pick this topic. I need to start getting ready. Alrighty. Fair winds, tight lines. Yeah. See ya.